Also very near the end of my project, so I finally can present some real results now. Can everybody hear me online?
Yes.
Okay, great. See, yes. The Automated Archaeologist. I'm a bit provocative here, maybe also, but I think we do have become automated by our tools to such an extent that we use our tools in such an automated way. We're a bit directed by our tools, and we are almost unaware while we're using it, how we're using it, why we're using it, and how our tools are also part of our knowledge production as well. And I think we need to take a step back, apply a bit of slow archaeology, and de-automate our processes. And now I developed an app in which I automated a methodology to de-automate our practice. And why I'm so interested in this? I'm really on a daily basis super aware of what I'm doing. I have this condition in my joints, and I have these orthotics that you see on the picture, and they really affect what I'm doing. I continuously have to think how I move and what my movements are and how they should be, because they're always doing wrong, and then it hurts. So I'm continuously busy at how I move around, how I use my tools also, because they scratch the surface of my Wacom or my drawing tablets, for example. And also that made me really aware of how I use, for example, my 3D scanner and how I interact with the material I'm actually scanning. I don't anymore. I'm looking to the screen and doing something like that with my scanner and all the buttons on it. But before that, in this talk, I will first introduce the wider research project and then go into the introduction of ArcVPT and how it works, the methodology behind it that I automated and that I developed already in previous research, how I translated that, and how I also want to apply that to past practices, which is also a huge part of my current project. So my current research project is under construction, in which I basically generally look into the transmission and adoption of new technology in our existing practice, our archaeological practice, but also how people in the past responded to the introduction of new technology and how that impacted an existing tradition of making, of building, or visualization in my case. The goals in the project are to reconstruct these interactions between, in the past, different craftspeople and how they built their buildings and how they interacted on the building site. And to assess the extent to which archaeological visualization has been impacted and really changed due to the adoption of digital technology. And how I do that? Well, I built on the transition methodology that I developed before, and integrated that for the past practice things with computational techniques, 3D scanning, but also morphological analysis, and a bit of archaeological theory. I have two case studies, an old one and a new one. And today, of course, I will only go into the second case study of archaeological visualization practice and the impact of digital innovations. Tradition in transition was a really important part of this. It's an integrated bottom-up approach that combines practice theory. Hey, oh, the blank thing? Yeah. Yes. Such as chain repertoire and the operational sequence approach with reflexivity, which is already widely used and known in the digital archaeology, of course. And the chaîne opératoire is, I really closely follow the French school in this, is understood as a series of actions associated with knowledge and technical know-how. And it's really, you can really study in detail material to reconstruct the social context behind it and how people interacted with each other and with the material to make something. And central are the choices and decisions on what to do and what to collect, to record, and what to archive, for example. And when you really deconstruct a practice like that, it enables really a transparent and a bit of a democratic way to publish and record and publish the paradata that we all now have. Many books about it, and I think I now found the solution by presenting ArcVPT. And this really helps, I hope, to create awareness of the tools and techniques we use, and how this is a co-creative thing. Even if you feel really isolated in doing your thing, you're always embedded in a research project or some other thing. You always interact with participants, which can either be human or non-human. So in the this is what it looked like in the unautomated version. You can really break the chaîne opératoire down in a series of events, and these events consist of methods, the techniques, and the tools and actions to carry out those methods, to actually do it, and also all the gestures that are involved in making something. There was a really textual approach, really laborious also. I created then manually these diagrams to really in advance show how my practice looks like. And I think it was really hard to adopt by other people this because it takes a lot of time, basically. So I automated it and called it the Archaeological Visualization Practice Tracer. And this really operationalizes this tradition in transition methodology in clickable decision moments while you're doing it, or after, from memory. That doesn't matter. It's up to you. And that enables to trace a practice and identify exactly, hopefully, when a new technology entered and transformed the ways you were doing it before. So that's my main goal, to document and compare workflows of visualizing archaeologists, assess the differences, but also similarities, of course, between what we did in the past, what we did in between and still doing. I mean, I'm still drawing, then digitizing it in Illustrator, and then, or completely digital workflows. It's a multi-scalar approach, so you can really zoom in on super tiny details and zoom out on maybe regionally or even nationally had something first adopted and introduced in a practice, and then others started to follow that way of doing. Because in the case of visualization, that really is my thing. It really depends where you are and how these research and especially drawing traditions, for example, look like, and how we draw stuff and present things also. We can do more with ArcVPT. This is also interesting maybe for students, because you can also track your developing skills. When you start, for example, in your first year, you can document how you do your maybe a drawing, and then after your undergrad, and when you graduate, you can do it again and see to what extent this has progressed. And ultimately, it can also position visualizers that are usually there in a lab doing drawing and stuff to a more central position. Also in digital archaeology as a whole, as we are actively contributing in knowledge production, of archaeological knowledge production. So how ArcVPT works? It's super easy. We do not have a lengthy manual to do it. It just has to, I don't know, I hope it should work like you just start and do it. You can install it and work offline, which is also nice if you are in a remote area where there's no internet. Even when you're not done, you can or when you are online, you can download a JSON file and re-upload it again and revise or continue where you left it. It starts with the general input. Why it's not, the thingies are not moving. With the general input, because stuff like where you're based or where the project is based, it can be filled in anonymously, but you can also fill in your name. Also, your sector may be impacting the way you're visualizing. So all these things, general inputs are needed or not. It's up to you what you fill in. It will work anyway. If you leave fields blank, it's fine. Then you move to the events, the next events. So conceptualization, which occurs in the mind still, to data collection, creation, processing, and sharing. Sharing or delivery depends if you're doing analog or digital practice. I think there is a difference there because now digitally we can like to share things, and in the past we would own this pottery drawing and publish it in a book, and then it was it. And within each event, this is all subdivided in many steps. The methods, the techniques and actions, the working conditions as well, because these have an impact on maybe how you produce your visualization. For example, super hot temperatures, then your 3D scanner is not working anymore. Stuff like that can affect your final visualization. And what is really different from the manual tradition in transition methodologies is now we can really connect better the social context, which was just a bar in my diagram, but it wasn't really showing the real connections. And also all the multiple participants are way more directly involved now when you record this. During your recording, you can also take photos directly with your mobile phone or just upload when you're working on a desktop, for example, the images. You can zoom in on really the hands or the archaeological feature or whatever it is you're doing. But yeah, of course, you have to ask for permission first if you can actually take these photos. For now, I'm not collecting any data, by the way. If you use ArcVPT, it's just for you. Just download your network visualization, your JSON file. It's for you. But I will come back to that later, why I'm not collecting any data of you yet. All recorded elements, it's really structured following the CDOC CRM models, so that in the end, because now I've built it, hopefully some university or other official organization may host it and then take care of it. And finally, a dynamic network is created in 3D that traces the visualization practice, and you can really see the connections. So there are several outputs. This 3D network, a textual summary, which is nice, you can include somewhere in your publication. A JSON file so that you can always re-upload it or use it and adapt it again, and an image file, of a static image file of the 3D network. Wow. How it was built. So this is the part on the CDOC CRM. I won't go into much detail about it. It's just that I wanted a model that is machine readable and exchangeable with other institutions and organizations. First build it with a huge Excel file and try to reconstruct all the CDOC properties and events and stuff like that. But the most used entities are E7, activity, and actor, and information object. Makes sense, I guess. But it took me 2 months though. It looks really simple, it's not. And then I designed my own diagram because I just love diagrams. To also to present the complexity of what it is what you're doing. You don't really realize it when you're doing it. You're just making a scan or a drawing. It's actually really an intricate process. And then if we fed it to the computer, through the AI, and he made really way more simple structure out of it. But the AI, we call him Oppie. My AI is called Koos, Copilot and Figma Maker. He started, I told my AI not to use the FRBRO structure model, but the other one did use it when I wasn't paying attention, which is fine. I can translate all the properties he did to the more general CRM-based properties. But yeah, you should really always check what your AI is doing, because they go rogue, which is super interesting and part of maybe a next project in which we will investigate this. And that results in a 3D diagram, and the little movie doesn't work. Wow. It moves, but you can see it in a bit when you try it out yourself. It's not exactly how I want it in the end, but this is the first version, the minimum viable product, so to say, of the app. I really need to improve it, expand it, and I need your help for that. But that's come later to that. You can click on it. You see the relations. Then information appears on the right. You see the color. It's color coded, so you can immediately see if it concerns one of the nodes is an actor, or just a tool, and how this is connected to all of it. I will upload this to the site, arcvpt.net, so you can check it out later. All the stuff we've used to build it. We also had Claude, the name of our other AI, which was really interesting to see how they communicated with each other also. I used a tracer instead of a tracker because tracker is really of control, I think, and it suggests it's a linear process, and a tracer follows. You just follow the tracers, and places choice really central, and it also acknowledges continuously to keep things open, really. So this is, I can be really super theoretical about this, but I will skip this because I want to embark with you on the practice voyage in ArcVPT. Last thing I want to say is how I apply this to the past. Well, it is still under construction. The first year of my current project was really the archaeological research. Then I moved to the digital part. And this part, I didn't do it yet, but in the end, I will use this app or this methodology also in the same way to to follow the practice of the ancient builders of the temple in Satricum in Italy. So this was the first phase of the project. The next phase will be finding more funding and expand it and develop a database to collect actually data, because it would be nice to see if many archaeologists contribute to the central database, then I can finally analyze it and see if there are patterns and really determine to what extent, quantify finally is based, because I now can conduct in a standardized way how we do things and then compare it on a larger scale and hopefully identify when and how our practice has changed for real. It was mainly based on my own the whole development of this methodology, on my own experience of visualization for the past 20 years. Started analog and then adopted new tools. And now I'm a digital archaeologist. But also, of course, had the help from colleagues here, which was really nice. But I'm looking for more input to improve and extend the app. So you could try it, the app, if you like. And there's also online a survey. This has lots of questions, but only fill in the parts you think you need improvement, especially if I may have forgot tools, probably I did, or actions or whatever. Please help me to improve it and expand it and standardize it. Because if people will fill in the other fields all the time, then I will miss the point because it has to be standardized. This is the last remark. This is really interesting to see how the AIs are communicating with each other. It's part in Dutch and part in English. And they keep giving each other compliments, or they seem insulted. No, I did this because it's really funny to see. So in the next phase of the project, we would like also to analyze this process, to have an MCP and then let them for really directly communicate, which is nice. So if people would like to join, this would be a nice opportunity to network our agents and also for the next phase of ArcVPT. So questions, yeah.
Thank you very much. Great. So I have some questions of my own, but it looks like there is already some questions in the chat. So we'll go ahead and start with those. Estelle says, I really like some of the conceptual choices that you mentioned and you're thinking through that. For example, tracer versus tracker. You have in the building ArcVPT slide that you wanted to avoid overly complex ontologies. Could you please talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was mainly related to the FRBRO ontology, because that's more, in the end, it comes from the library sector. Although they think really in expressions and stuff like that, it can be really, really like my diagram, the first one that I designed, which was clearly overly complex. And well, that was a good thing that Opie just made it way more simple to work it effectively. That doesn't, if we would use it, then it would be a really bibliographical approach, I think, if that is an answer.
Okay. Anyone have questions there? Okay. How would you see this potentially interacting with some of the archaeological recording apps that exist already, like Digit?
Good question. I haven't looked into that. I must admit, I'm guilty.
No, it's okay. I mean, just if you could think about an archaeological app, though,
Yeah.
just that would be pure recording, right, or single context recording. Would you see this as a sort of bolt-on, or would you see it as something entirely separate?
I think it is about really excavation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes way more into detail, I guess. Yeah, to the gesture part, to the actions, to really how you touch the paper already. It's based on visualization. So yeah, it could be a nice extension. Would be nice to integrate it because Digit has a more visual interface, if I recall well. I haven't looked into it. Yeah, that would be neat actually to include that. It could be expandable indeed. I took now a visualization, but it would be nice to expand it with other practices, of course. Yeah.
So in the chat, Tom Keep says it can often be hard to persuade projects to go beyond their current workflow. What do you see as the practical, demonstrable benefits of using the app for individual projects that would encourage its adoption?
You have your paradata, which we really like to see. And I wouldn't say you would every individual practice, but you could record it as a more generalized project practice that you could record. That would be great. Of course, all the technical metadata is saved elsewhere. You could include it. That's in the next phase, the idea. So that we have it all together because I know it's really scattered now. There are so many apps and tools that you can use. It would be nice to integrate it indeed in a bigger project. This is the first step, just.
So do you have, just following on from Tom, do you have a way for it to output a paradata document that would be legible for like depositing at the archaeology data service?
Yeah, I still want to talk to somebody from ADS. Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. This why I use CDOC and they work with Dublin Core, I think shouldn't be a problem. It would be amazing just to host, something like the ADS could host it. Yeah.
I have another question, but we can.
This is great. This is why I presented here because I hope people could help me with these things, like or the ADS or
Yeah, okay. And so you plan on using this now as part of the archaeological process that you will be documenting the past builders' similar decisions. Now, are you going to then sort of embody that decision making? I mean, because to fill out your app, you have to pretend to be a builder, right? You have to pretend like you're one of those people that is filling out the information in lieu of the actual person that's there.
Yeah.
So are you going to try to identify specific individuals? How are you going to embody those people?
How? Well, I need to embody those people if to fill it in. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it's a new, an adventure I need to still do. Yeah.
In theory, I mean, they could have be living with disabilities. They could be shorter. They could have different, just a very different phenomenological experience of what they're doing than your experience of that. And how do you mitigate that difference?
Yeah, it would be really great to actually it is a reconstruction in the end. So reconstruct different individuals. And I think I can see them already in the micro traces of the stone and earth materials I have studied. Still need to process some data in statistical software, but it would be really neat to see how they moved around. For example, laying out the foundation blocks. And there I can find some individual traces indeed. That would be interesting.
From the chat, it says, could AI help to simulate individual actors?
I guess so. What I experience now with this project, yes. Yeah.
Well, what kind of data would you input, or how would you build an AI that would simulate a past person then?
A lot of text, but also the traces I found. I think you can feed it in anything I experienced. So yeah, but that's really an open experiment that I think I will definitely do. Yeah.
Would you then use your app to try to document the decisions you made in building past person?
Um, yeah, there's actually no other way to reconstruct the social configuration on the building site. That what is my greatest goal with my project. So yeah, because I can recreate now empty spaces. Here's the temple. Here's all the steps how it built, but I wanted to have the people in it. That's I'm still working on that after 2 years. That's harder than I thought. But I think that AI can really help with that and make it really faster to reconstruct stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm not a specialist. I'm new in the AI scene.
Yeah, everyone's new.
Are you, I mean, I know all the data that people put in is anonymous or specific to them, but is there any
Moment.
analytics that you could do across different projects, like with permission from the users, just to see how different people are using it?
In this phase, not, but I want to. Yes, yeah. In when it's really funded projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the whole point. We want to compare.
But as it stands now, whatever anyone.
I can't see anything. I only track the visitors, unique visitors. Yeah.
I think I have the last question, maybe. What's the most fun part of this project to you?
The interaction with Koos and Oppi, the AIs. Yeah. I think because the preparation part was hard and it was lonely. And then when we finally started building, it was super interesting to have this interaction. So that's why I became really enthusiastic about indeed expanding it with bringing them together in the next phase of the project, and also to analyze the data. And indeed, now I have the inspiration that how they can help people in the past in my reconstructions. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. It is much appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for joining us online. And I'm very excited to see how this project progresses. So thank you.